Hey guys, so quick update. The last time I spoke to you, I had returned from my walk, the Camino Frances, that I did with Ellie, my daughter. And as you know, I had an amazing experience. And interestingly, when I came back, I sort of have been asked the question, now that I'm semi-retired and hopefully will retire in another month or two fully, I asked myself the question, what can I do going forward for the next number of years? Running, yeah, for sure. But what can I actually do that is sustainable and I'll be able to do into old age? And the hiking with Ellie, the long distance walk we did, was such an amazing experience that I decided that this would be a good way for me to continue. Now, Ellie's partner Carl did warn me that walking with Ellie and walking on your own is not quite the same, and I'm sure he's right. But I do think this is something that I can do for an extended period of time. So when I came back, I bought a campervan, and I'm going to walk out and show you the campervan in just a few minutes. And my intention was to take that campervan and walk in Ireland, walk in Europe, France, Spain, Portugal, wherever. Travel around, maybe bum around Europe in the van. And I wanted to get something that was small, that I could drive on a regular basis, not a big motorhome, and that I could enjoy. I'm on my own, so I don't need space for loads of people. I was faced with a dilemma though. What would I do with my car and my bike? And if I'm off in the camper van driving around Europe and hiking, clearly I'm not riding around Europe on my motorbike. And I thought about perhaps getting a smaller bike, some sort of trail bike that could pop up in the back of the camper van, because it actually came with a rack on the back that could take a small bike. But events overtook me. So about 2 weeks after I came back from the Camino, I crashed my motorbike. It was actually a very serious crash, to the extent that the motorbike was written off and the car I crashed into was written off. I miraculously was not written off, and although I was badly bashed, the usual broken ribs, torn ligaments and things, bashed everywhere, every joint I had got a whack. I was black and blue from head to foot, but I was alive. And as you can see, here I am 6-7 weeks later, and I'm functioning just fine. So I thought about this, so maybe this is a sign. I mean, all my biker friends were laughing, telling me that I was walking with the Lord, having come back from the Camino, and that nothing else could have saved me. But it was a wake-up call. And I did ask her the question whether or not this is something I wanted to continue. So I decided not to. I decided to scrap motorcycle riding, not do this anymore, and replace it instead with the camper van. So I sold my I didn't sell my motorbike. The insurance company scrapped my motorbike, they wrote it off, and they paid me for it. And I sold my car, and I put them two together. I said, that'll cover the cost of a camper van and doing the camper van up. So my new plan is camper vanning for the next while. Go off in this little van and experience camping in a camper van, and experience hiking, going off to different places, parking up and going off for a day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever, hiking. Going back and do perhaps some more of the Caminos here in Ireland and the Caminos in Europe. Perhaps there's a whole load of them going up to Santiago, and I would really like to do some more of those. So I bought this camper van from a man who had 12 children, 9 girls and 3 boys, with 6 different women. So the camper van, what can I tell you about it? It needed help. And I bought it for €12,000, and it is a Vauxhall Vivaro, and 217,000 miles on the clock. So high mileage, fitted out as a camper van, but in a way that wouldn't suit me. So I bought it, and first thing I did was I brought it down to the local garage, and I had it serviced, got it a full service, including things like changing the gear oil and so on. So it was a big service, new battery. It's just had a new alternator and new brake calipers on the back. And so I put a new battery into it and gave the car a complete overhaul, if you wish, mechanical overhaul. I also had the steering rack replaced because the steering was dodgy, so I had a new steering rack put in. I had the spare wheel which used to hang off the back of the van. I had that taken off. It was hanging on, and again, this guy made everything on this makeshift spare wheel rack. It was bopping back and forwards and ripping the back of the van. I had the underslung wheel carrier underneath the car. I had that repaired and the wheel went down there. So I got all that mechanical work done. And I had the van, I stripped out everything out of the van, all the stuff that he'd built into it. I left the basic things that were there. And the basic things were the sink, the hob, the fridge, and the cupboards and the bed. All these other additions I removed. And then I had the van rewired for off-grid living. So I had 3 100 watt solar panels I put on the roof, and it's a pop-up roof you'll see at the moment. And I had a new inverter, a hybrid inverter, a new MPPT controller, new fuse board, new wiring, 2 leisure batteries, 110 ampere hour batteries, 2 of them. And I had it all wired up, and I fixed the wiring for the mains. And so now I have 3 ways I can run it: off the mains, off the alternator, or off my solar panels. And I've tried it all out, and it all works. The fridge also I tried out. The fridge works. The gas works. The gas was a problem. It was running an old Calder gas cylinder that you can't get anymore, and the replacement ones they have are too big for the gas box, so I had to get a new camping gas, which is a smaller cylinder, but also it's better for Europe. I think that seems to be what's available across Europe. So I replaced all of that, and now everything's working. As recently as yesterday, I put in my bits and pieces like sleeping bags, which I use as duvets, a pillow, pots and pans or whatever. I've bought loads of little containers for food, so theoretically the car is ready to rock and roll. So let me take you out and give you a look at the van, and you can tell me in the comments what you think. Did I get a good value, or did I make a big mistake? I'm pretty pleased with it. She currently stands me €15,500, which is a pretty good value when compared to the what you could buy out there. Now, that's me talking to kids here. Ask them to please be quiet while I do my video. So, lovely neighbours and wonderful bunch of kids, but boy, they're kids with all the energy kids. So here's the van, Opel Vivaro, 05 reg, new to me, but 20 years old, and looking all nice and clean and polished up and whatever. And perhaps I'll just start here at the back and show you what I did. There's my reversing camera, really important with the children around. I think just in general really important. I'm very nervous about reversing without the camera. There's my stuff stored in on the back of the bed. That's the pull-out bed that pulls out into the camper van. You can see here I built some boxes. So I built these boxes that go underneath the seat, and I put them on sliders so that they can slide in and out. I can store stuff underneath there. I bought all the bits and pieces like the first aid kits and all the things that you need. There's my heater. I have a heater that runs off kerosene, and there's the mains input. And in here you can see there's a kerosene tank and all the stuff for punches, whatever. There's my shelving, which I access from inside the cab, my pots and pans, and up there on that top one will be my food. And you can't actually see anything in there, but in there are the batteries, the inverter, the MPPT controller, and all the bits and pieces, all the electrics. These 2 shelves I can disconnect 3 screws, very simple to disconnect them, and I can take them out for easy access to the electrics. Here's the camper van inside. There's the gas cylinder, because I still have the Calder gas cylinder in the gas box, or the gas, whatever you call it, that keeps the gas safe. and until I use up what's left in it, I won't be plumbing that in. There's my 3-way fridge. So it runs on 12 volts and it runs on 230 volts, depending whether I have the inverter on or off. It's supposed to run on gas as well, but it hasn't been plumbed for gas, so the plumbing was never done. Here I have my 2 rings and my sink. There's my sink and then my 2 rings. I have a pump on the sink, and my water supply, which you access from the outside, is in there. There's the gas safe, or whatever you want to call it. The water supply is in there, and it's my waste supply. And you access it, I say, from the other side. I'll show you that in a moment. There I've got 2 sockets. So one is running the fridge and the other one will be for plugging in my laptop or whatever. I built some storage units up there myself, which I've clicked in there and just pop stuff into. And underneath here, you can see I have a new big storage unit, which is for my clothes and such like bits and pieces. And you can see here I have a little top for it. And there it is. So that's where all my clothes and stuff would go. I have other storage there for shoes and bits and pieces. There's a rock and roll bed. You pull this lever here and you pull the whole thing out, and you get a nice bed. I've actually tried it out. There, so you can see the little table there. That table comes out, clicks onto these railings here, and a leg. So you can sit down here in your seat and eat your food. Here's the access to my shelving. There's the shelving that you saw from the other side, where I've got pots and pans. You see all the electrics in there. Up here's where I'll be storing my food. And that's sort of the cabin here. It's a pop top. So I'm going to actually pop the top here, just show you how easy it is, why I'm actually filming. I pop up the pop top. There's just little things to make sure that as I'm driving along, it doesn't pop, which would be something of a disaster. But here's the pop top, and up she goes. Simple as that. And now you can see, I'm just going to switch around here the camera for a moment. Now you can see me here. I'm standing up inside it, and lovely and light and bright. Really, really nice. I had to do some repairs on that as well, where it had been caught in the clips on, when you rise it up and down. So I had to do some repairs on that. I do repairs on everything, to be very honest with you. I mean, there's you wouldn't know this to the van I actually bought originally. The seat here, this swivels around, so I can actually put a lever in the front and swivel that chair around so it faces into the table as well. And you can see here the seat, this is all very nice. It's a nice car to drive, a nice van to drive. It's easy to drive. You can see I've got extra fans up there. I had a new blower and a new controller for the fan, put a new fan basically fit into it. But I left those there as well because they're nice as well. That little unit down there is an air conditioning unit, which is handy if it's particularly warm. I can plug into a USB and gives me some extra cooling. There's the camera for the rear view for when I'm reversing. The paint job on it and whatever is not great. I've done the best I could. You can see here, there's a lot to be done. She really needs that respray, and I will do it at some stage. When the guy tells me he's available again, I will definitely get it done. But for the moment, it's just going to have to make do, I suppose. I want to get out this. I want to use it. I don't want to be waiting forever for him. Here's the rear. There's my wastewater and my water supply. There's the cough, whatever you call it, for the gas cylinder, and there's the rear of the fridge. So that's the camper van. My plan now is to, as I say, head off to the sun. Maybe not immediately. So I'm currently exiting my business, what I'm doing, and my plan is that as soon as I have that completed, I will head off for probably for a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, head off down to Europe. Before I do that, I will try out the van here. I'll go and do some lead Caminos here in Ireland. There's quite a number of them, and the forecast isn't great for the next week or two. But it's okay. I get out there, I get some walking in and get back into it. Since the accident on the bike, it's been hard going with the exercise. For the first number of weeks I couldn't move, never mind exercise. But now I've got the point where I do my stretching routine every day, and I am walking every day. So I go out and walk every day for just a few miles, just to get out and get the whole body moving. And slowly but surely it's recovering. So I'm comfortable that in, say, another 6 weeks, I should be back able to do my weights, go out and do long runs again, carry a backpack or whatever. So that's sort of the update, and that's my plan. I've named the van Bolero. So Bolero, like Ravel's Bolero. So I think it's an incredible piece of music. But also Bolero, which is a Spanish dance, a very energetic dance. But Bolero is also that short jacket the Spanish wear. So it's a small van, a lot of energy, very energetic, and plans to travel to France and Spain with it. So there you go, Bolero seems like a good name. So that's it. And the next video I think would be hopefully be me out on the trail somewhere, actually having a walk, experiencing the van. I'll give you an update and let you know how the van works, what it's like to sleep in, to cook in, just to learn that whole process. I'm sort of a bit nervous about it. Like all things, I've never done it before, but I've camped, of course, off the motorbike for years, so it can't be that difficult. So that's it. Talk to you soon. Bye.